Ancient mammoth bones sit on tables, waiting for millennia of mud and muck to be scraped off and washed away, waiting to tell their story. These bones were discovered in a creek bank on a farm in Mahaska County in southeast Iowa and brought to the University of Iowa Museum of Natural History for cleaning and restoration.
Bones were first discovered at the site in 2010, and the site was brought to our attention by the landowner and asked if the university and the museum would be interested in assisting at the site, because what he originally thought was just a few bones eroding out of a creek bank was turning out to be a quite significant number of bones, and what we thought would be a pretty important research site looking at Iowa during the Ice Age.
That pile of bones sitting in a creek bank is turning out to be quite an important find. They're giving a glimpse to what the region looked like, what the landscape was, and what animals roamed the land.
It's the most complete mammoth site ever discovered in our state, and one of the largest and most complete sites probably in the region.
The bones are dug up on site. Teams of experts, scientists, and students dig and sift through the mud, pulling up and examining bones that have not been seen or touched in tens of thousands of years. Intact bones are cleaned and stored, while bones that need some conservation work are brought to the museum.
When we started to uncover this tusk, it was not in very good shape, it was cracking, and so when we find bones like that in the ground that are falling apart, we wrap a plaster jacket around them, essentially like if you broke your arm and went to the doctor, they would put a cast on it. So we put a cast on the bone, bring it back to the lab where we can more carefully excavate it.
Whether in the lab or on site, students play a large role in the entire excavation and renovation process. Kristen Teft, a junior biochemistry major, took an anthropology class her freshman year and found it so interesting she started volunteering at the museum, and she loves the work she gets to do.
I went up there and I just fell in love with being covered in mud and just pulling these huge bones out of the earth. It's really cool.
This dries out faster.
The University of Iowa and the Museum of Natural History want students interested in paleontology, archaeology, or even the history of Iowa a chance to get up close with these bones and have an opportunity to uncover history.
The museum is interested in this opportunity for university students, so it's really become a great opportunity for them to get hands-on experience on an important site, both helping to dig the bones out at the site and the lab work that a lot of people don't realize. There's a lot of work to be done on the bones after they come out of the ground. That's why I tied this on, because it was starting to split.
The chance to handle something that hasn't been seen in thousands of years was something Kristen couldn't pass up.
I've never thought I could possibly do this. When I first saw the bones come in, I was like, I have to do this. It's not something I ever registered possible that I could do.
She helps dig the bones up in the field and puts them together in the lab, cleaning and putting the fragments together like a jigsaw puzzle.
The bones come in these bags. They're completely covered in mud, and basically what I do is I take chopsticks and toothbrushes and just water, and I slowly try to work off all the mud off the bones. I like to put the bones back together. I've always been interested in puzzles, taking the bones and putting them back together and gluing them together and seeing what was smaller pieces are actually this giant bone that you didn't see before.
And so far, these woolly creatures have revealed much about Iowa of the past, speaking from their muddy tomb to give some insight of another era.
Woolly mammoths, even though they're kind of the more recognizable of the species, would have been further up north for the most part. They were more adapted for the colder weather, which even though it's the Ice Age down here in southern Iowa, this would have been on the edge of their range or even a little bit outside of their range. So that was one surprising thing we've uncovered so far. To have more than one animal present at the site was kind of a surprise too.
And for Sarah, discoveries like this get to tell her about the history of her home state.
The fact that I get to help pull these bones out of the ground, that's what got me into archaeology in the first place, is the hands-on aspect of it. I always loved history, but it's very different reading about it in a book versus being the first one to see something like this in 10, 20, 30,000 years, or maybe if this is older than that, this may be something that no human had ever set eyes on before.
And that hands-on experience can have a profound impact on the students, much like it did for Kristen.
I was always thinking I was going to do medical research, but now, especially I've been taking a lot of anthropology courses. I think it's definitely changed what I want to do with my life. This helped me experience other things that I didn't think before. I realized I liked a lot of things I didn't know before, and it's kind of changed what I want to do with my life.
They think that can determine